He could be the next Justin Jefferson. I wouldn't go that high, but
he's the GOAT.
He's pretty good for a rookie wide receiver.
He's
getting drafted in your late rounds.
And he's very
pick him up.
So then could I just bring in someone that you shouldn't be starting in your lineup?
For sure, Footy. Anytime you want to speak.
Kyler Murray. All right, welcome to ER Fantasy. We're going to be discussing Week 5 today, the upcoming week. This is probably our first video that's going to be uploaded to YouTube, so welcome to everyone who's taking the time out of their day to watch some abstract video game that we're talking about. Okay, so we're going to be doing our start sits, and I'm going to start with mine. My first start of the week is going to be Cordero Patterson. He came off a huge game against, who did he play last week?
Last week they played the Washington football team.
Which is a good defense, and he still put up 35 points. Every single week he has 7 carries and 7 targets, which is pretty good. He's averaging 21 points per game, and he's playing the worst rushing defense in the league in the Jets. I think after his awesome performance last week, the Falcons will evolve him even more in their offense, and I think he'd have a really big week this week. Secondly, we got Dalvin Cook. He's coming off a terrible week, but he was partly injured, so I think he's going to be at full strength this week, going against one of the worst rushing defenses in the league, probably the second worst behind the Jets, the Lions. He always goes off against the Lions. They're a divisional opponent, and yeah, he'll have a huge game, a bounce-back game. Thirdly, we got Stephon Diggs. He's going against the Chiefs, who have a depleted defense, and it should be a shootout. Sunday Night Football, Bills-Chiefs, AFC Championship rematch.
Good game.
When Josh Allen in the playoffs in big games, Josh Allen looks to Stephon Diggs over and over again. So look for Stephon Diggs to have at least 20. And now for my sits. Miles Sanders. This guy, he's barely getting any touches, and he's playing a really good Panthers defense. Don't start Miles Sanders. Second, this one's a surprising one, but Mike Williams. I actually had him on my roster before the season started. I dropped him, and he's averaging 20 a game, so it's not really a good thing. But I think Mike Williams is going to start to cool down. I think Justin Herbert will target Keenan Allen a little bit more now that Mike Williams is kind of like an equal threat to defenses. They'll kind of help. They're going to start to cover him a little bit more, not focus on Keenan Allen as much, and that will open up Keenan Allen's offensive game. So
yeah, if I was a Mike Williams owner, I would suggest trading him. I mean, I would have suggested trading him in week 3, or week 2 even, just because I don't think him getting 20 points a game is sustainable for him, especially since there's many other weapons on that team. So if you have Mike Williams, maybe I wouldn't trade him now due to his poor performance last week, but if he has a good game this week, then I suggest trading him.
Consider selling high.
Yeah.
Lastly, I got DK Metcalf. It's DK Metcalf and is infamous for being bad against Jalen Ramsey, and Jalen Ramsey always takes the matchup very seriously, and he takes it personally. He plays with a chip on his shoulder, and I think DK Metcalf this week will have a bad week. He's projected to score 19, but that's not going to happen in my opinion. He's also questionable to start the week, so that could also be a factor in this game. Jalen Ramsey's not going to give up anything to him this week, so consider sitting him. If you have no better options, then go with DK Metcalf, but I would consider sitting him.
Yeah, to Riley's point, I wouldn't sit DK Metcalf if you have someone that's way less talented on your team that's on your bench. But certainly if you have someone at least similar to his caliber, I suggest starting him too. My starts. So for me, my first one is Sam Darnold. I love Sam Darnold this year. I loved him on the Jets. I think he was handicapped a lot of the time with their coaching and their playbook. This year, he's the QB 8 on the year. Last week, he threw for 300 yards, or 301. 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions versus the Cowboys. And the Cowboys this year are looking good. Their secondary, Trayvon Diggs, he's looking very good. 5 interceptions in 4 games. So yeah, start Sam Darnold. My next start, I have Damian Harris. So he has had 2 bad weeks prior. Last week he had negative rushing yards, but he was on the field for the most plays. The Patriots only rushed the ball, I'd say, 8 or 9 times, and that's just from watching the game live that night. So Damian Harris still got 4 carries for negative yards. But shout out to Mac Jones. I think he still persevered and he played really well. Some would say better than Tom Brady. So I expect Damian Harris to get back on track versus a very bad Texans defense. And my third start is Adam Thielen versus Detroit. I think he's already has 4 touchdowns on the year. He's been targeted at least 7 times per game, and I think Kirk's going to throw the ball to him a lot. They have a really bad secondary in Detroit, and I just feel like I believe that he will score at least a touchdown, maybe even 2. So my sits. So I have Cortland Sutton sitting versus Pittsburgh. Their QB play is very bad. Teddy Bridgewater is good. I mean, he's not great. And then Drew Lock is even worse than Teddy Bridgewater, in my opinion. He needs a touchdown if he wants to be fantasy relevant this week. And he has a very bad matchup versus Pittsburgh. My second sit is Robert Tonyan of the Packers at Cincinnati. The Bengals are going to probably have Jesse Bates shadowing Tonyan over the middle. And Aaron Rodgers would most likely go to Devontae Adams and then Aaron Jones in the mix too. So I think Robert Tonyan is a sit this week, and he's very touchdown dependent. All right, what's up, guys? Now we are on to a bold prediction segment where all 3 of us, here's Footy. Footy joined us.
Yeah.
This is going to be posted on YouTube.
All right.
Probably.
What's up, YouTube?
All right. Yes, up YouTube. Okay. So now each of us will be saying our bold predictions. Me and Riley have 2 each. Footy can only have 1 or 2, or
I have 1.
whatever we come up with. Okay.
My number 1 prediction is going to be. Can I get a drum roll, please?
Yeah.
Najee Harris finishes as RB1 overall at the end of the season.
Bold.
Why? Why, you ask?
Why?
Najee Harris gets 100% of the running back snaps on a team. That's number 1. Number 2, he's hecka talented, okay? He can catch the ball. He can jump over dudes. He can also bulldoze dudes. He can also run very, very fast. Reason number 3. Against Cincinnati last week, not last week, but the week before, he got 19 targets.
In the air.
That's probably the most of all season for anyone.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty nuts.
That is nutty.
And he's also gotten 7. He's got 7 the last game. He actually only has 2 touchdowns all season, and he's the running back 4. So if the Steelers, if their offense gets a little bit better and they start, they don't even have to run it to him because he's going to be the focal point of their offense either way. So as long as the Steelers' overall offense gets a tiny bit better and he gets a little bit more touchdowns, I think Najee Harris will finish as the running back 1 for the rest of the season. So trade for him. Get him on your roster.
You want to go?
He's at his lowest point right now in the season. He's just going to skyrocket like Apple.
All right. I have one thing to say about that. They don't have the O-line for it.
Okay, but how is he the running back 4 so far with 2 touchdowns though? Like if they don't have
How many
if they don't have the
receptions?
O-line.
How many receptions does he have
receptions?
every game?
That's my point. That's
Right,
exactly my
it's
point.
tough.
He has 3 first game, 5 second game,
Yeah. I mean, I actually like that pick.
14 the next
Yeah,
game.
I actually like that pick because I think Big Ben honestly is a bottom 3 quarterback in the league this year.
Stop.
He is.
I think he is. That's not even a bold take. He can't throw the ball past 15 yards. So, of course, he's going to check down to Najee Harris.
You saw it last year with Drew Brees and Alvin Kamara. It's the same exact thing.
Yeah, but it's the same exact thing, but Drew Brees is actually a competent quarterback that year.
No, he really wasn't, though.
Yeah, but at least he could, like, semi-throw the ball down.
No, he can't. He wouldn't.
Well, farther than Big Ben.
No, I
Do you watch
disagree with
Steelers
that. I
games?
disagree
Oh
with
my
that.
God, it's bad.
All right.
Don't watch
My
it.
bold prediction is Cooper Kupp will finish outside the top 10 for wide receivers this year. He's right now ranked at 1. And his production load is just going to completely go down, I think. I mean, you look at it, he went 10 targets, 11 targets, 12 targets, 13 targets.
Moving up.
But here's the thing.
Touchdowns.
Every
Touchdowns.
single team that he's played was ranked lower than top 15 or higher than top 15 for receiving
corner,
defense.
yeah. Mhm.
And when you look at it, he's not getting many receptions. He had 5 receptions on 13 targets, 7 receptions on 13 targets, and I don't see him going forward as the wide receiver 1. I think you have too many options. You have Robert Woods, you have Tyler Higbee, who's getting a better workload now, and I think Cooper Kupp's been too hot to start the season. I think he's going to fall off.
I have to agree with that because he's at the level right now where he's been the most productive wide receiver in all of the NFL, and you know that what's going to happen is they're going to put more attention on him, and I don't think he's at the talent level where he can be the number 1 wide receiver and kind of like still have insane production like DeAndre Hopkins or
Adams.
Or Tyreek Hill. Or Tyreek Hill can do it because he's so fast. It's just like you miss him for 1 second and he's gone. But yeah, I agree with that statement. I would say that he does finish in the top 10 just because Matt Stafford clearly has a connection with him, but he definitely doesn't finish top 3 in my opinion.
All right. My first bold prediction, I think that Deebo Samuel, similar to Footy's point, but for me it's Deebo Samuel. I think he is going to cool off. I think what separates him from Cooper Kupp is quarterback play. I mean, Trey Lance did good in his first game. We don't know how he will match up with Matt Stafford. The Rams have a more established run game. They have better weapons. Brandon Ayuk is not even there. So I think Deebo Samuel will cool off. He's had some hamstring problems in the past. Trey Lance is a mobile quarterback, even though he can sling it downfield. He has 3 touchdowns on the year. He's gotten targeted at least 8 times per game, so similar to Riley's point, I think he's going to get covered better. So I think Deebo Samuel will cool off. I suggest trading him. If you have him, this will be his highest value ever. Who's going to go to the second one?
I'll go.
You got it?
Yep. All right. My second bold prediction is Sammy Watkins will finish top 20 in wide receiver core. And here's why.
It's very bold.
Sammy Watkins, since he's gotten to Baltimore this year,
Yeah.
has gotten no lower than 7 targets on the year.
Yep.
He just rostered him.
I rostered him today, yeah. He's
like
been able
20
to...
minutes ago.
Huh?
Like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah. And you look at it, he's been able to produce every single game. You look at his points, 14, 10, 11, 10.
That's why I got Rashad Bateman.
And that is solid. That is solid wide receiver play.
He's a good wide receiver, too, in 32-man leagues.
No, because you look at it, you have Mark Andrews, sure, you have Marquise Brown, who can't catch
And
a football.
Rashad Bateman.
Marquise Brown, who can't catch a football.
Pick up Rashad Bateman.
Marquise Brown, who can't catch a football.
Yeah, that's true.
Mark Andrews, decent.
Yeah.
But Sammy Watkins
Yep.
is going to turn into the number 1 wide receiver in Baltimore, and he's going to finish at least top 20 in wide receiver cores in fantasy football this year.
All right, moving on.
Get him on your rosters.
All right, my
Get him,
second
pick
bold
him up.
prediction. This one, I think, would happen. I didn't like him from the start. I think he was going to split too much time. And I'm talking about Nick Chubb. I think Nick Chubb is going to finish outside the top 15 running backs in fantasy this year. He has minimal to no receiving game. He splits way too much time with Kareem Hunt. He gets all the receiving work. You could almost call him touchdown dependent I mean, he had 21 carries for like 100 plus yards, a little bit over, like 114 yards. He got 11.4 points because he doesn't get any receiving work. He's ranked 13 for running back right now, and I expect it to drop more.
My second bold prediction, it's not even that bold because it's a fact, okay? Jalen Hurts will finish as the quarterback 2 in fantasy, only behind Patrick Mahomes.
That's wild.
That's not wild. He's currently the quarterback 4. All right. He has consistent rushing production each game. He has positive game scripts each game because his team is not good. They lean on him for everything. Literally, he's gonna have even his bad games. Okay, Nav and I were talking about it. He's like, how the heck did Jalen Hurts score 25 against Dallas last game? Like they were getting absolutely obliterated. It was terrible.
I'm going to tell you.
They got destroyed by the Cowboys, but he still put up 25 points at the end of the game.
Up 25 though, because it was late minute trash throws in the fourth quarter.
Still, that's what I'm saying. That's what positive game script is.
That's
what positive game script
Dallas
is.
isn't even playing the defense. So how are you going to tell me someone that can only score touchdowns on a defense with their backups in safety coverage is going to be a top 2 QB in the NFL? For fantasy, when he can't even score a touchdown on a normal defense. I mean, that's just absurd and awful.
Well, that's
prediction.
Okay.
I mean.
Well, no, it's not because we can make a bet on it if you want.
A live bet to end it right here.
Okay, so basically, what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'd like
trade for Jalen Hurts. His value's way too low at the moment. He's gonna finish really high.
Stay away.
Consistent rushing production.
Stay away.
I don't know. I'm siding with Footy. Not as hard as Footy, but I don't know. I don't see it.
I mean, how can you see it?
Alright. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye, YouTube.
And make sure to like and subscribe.
Yeah. Comment down below.
Comment down below. Yeah.